guys, it's Melissa. In this video, we are going to talk about how to create and use templates with your UV printer. So if you want to do things where you are printing directly onto an object and that object is a custom shape and you want to make sure that what you are printing is perfectly centered, how do you do that without making a jig? Well, you can do it using a template. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. I like to use Silhouette Studio because I can export for all different other types of software. So that's where we're going to begin.
This is a multi-piece project. We are going to use multiple machines, namely the laser and then also my UV printer. And so I need a central spot where I can create designs that then I can export for multiple other softwares. And this Silhouette Studio is it. So for right now, all we are going to do is cut the red lines. I'm going to go up here to go to File, Save Selection. So that's only going to save the part that I have selected, save to hard drive, and I am going to change this to SVG, and then I'm going to put this as a snowflake ornament acrylic layer. Okay, now you need to have Silhouette Studio Business Edition to export as an SVG. It is a one-time fee and totally worth the $50. I will throw the link in the description below. So we have cut our mirror acrylic base. So if you haven't done the first part of this where you've cut your acrylic already, I would recommend doing that. The next thing that we want to do is now we want to print on this with our UV printer. So we can't just throw this in the UV printer and have it print, because how is it going to know exactly where to print? So you need to make a template, and you can make a pretty quick template, but you have to have your design set up correctly. You have to make sure nothing moves. You have to have multiple different types of files. So this is, as you know, our base where we're starting. We pulled the base piece, the acrylic piece, into Xtool Creative Space already. And now what we want to do is we want to pull that same piece, which was the red line. Okay, I'm actually going to, it's a compound path, which is why I can only select one piece. It's got the whole thing selected. So I don't want to move anything, but what I do want to do is I want to change the line color to black, and then I want to increase the black a little bit because I need to print this. Okay, so what we want to do is we only want to export the black line. I don't want the rest of this to print, so I'm actually going to temporarily delete those, and I'm going to keep them on my clipboard. Okay, and I'm just going to go to File, Print, and I'm going to go to PDF, and I'm going to call this Snowflake Ornament Template. I already have one called that. I'm going to replace it. Okay, and that is going to give me a PDF with just this outline, which we are going to use, and we're going to print that on our UV printer. I'm using an Epson V1070. That is going to print on a piece of paper, and then we'll be able to know exactly where to position the acrylic so that it can print the rest of it, which is going to be this part. Oops. So now I'm going to delete the black line temporarily. Everything needs to stay in the exact position, and it needs to be a PDF so that when we open it in Epson Edge Print, everything is in the same position. So I'm going to go again, this time I'm going to go to File, Print, and I'm going to go to PDF, and I am going to call this the UV print. I'm hoping that it works with this white, so we'll have to see about that. Otherwise, I'm going to need to make it like a little bit off white. Okay, and then I'm going to put that back. Now this is our complete template. Okay, now I'm going to move over to Epson Edge Print. I'm on a Mac right now, so I use Google Drive to put everything on, and then I'll move over to my PC and I'll meet you over there. Okay, so here we are in Epson Edge Print, and we need to bring the template in first. So we're going to go to Add, and I have, as you can see, the template and the UV. These are both PDFs. They will stay exactly the same size, relative size. So we'll click Open, and we don't need the UV print yet, so I'm not going to bring that in yet. Okay, so here's our design, and what you can see is it's upside down. So I am actually going to rotate this. So I just need to go to Layout, and where's my rotate? Right here. 180 degrees. I don't want to change the size. I don't want to do anything else, okay? So I don't want to do anything else in layout. I do want to go to basic settings, and I want to confirm that I am only going to print the color layer, okay? Because that is all we need. This is literally just to make a template, and we do not need 12 passes. 2 passes is plenty for what we are doing here, okay? So now I'm going to press print, and I'm going to meet you over at the Epson V1070. So I'm going to place my piece of paper down here, and I'm just always going to start here in the bottom right corner. It's going to print right here.
Okay, now before I start printing, I want to make sure that I have the correct media height. And right now it's set to acrylic, so I don't want that. So I want to make sure that I click media height, manual, and I'm going to tell it to get the measurement. What it's going to do is it's going to check for the height, and then it's going to reset. And at that point you can press start and the printing will begin. It's only going to take a couple of seconds to print because it's only the outline and it's only 2 passes. So now I can use this to place my acrylic. You want to make sure that that the paper does not move. And now I will be ready to print on my acrylic.
Okay, so here we are in Epson Edge Print, and I need to add the UV print. So here we go. I just had downloaded it from Google Drive, and it's going to come in as a PDF. We're not going to change anything except rotate it, and then we have to do a couple of setting adjustments. So here we are. You can barely see that white on there. I had to actually make it a slightly off white. Okay, and then what we are going to do, we're first going to start at layout, and we are going to rotate 180 degrees. So we are down here in the same corner, and then we're going to go to basic settings. Now, this time we don't want to do a single layer, right? We want to do a triple layer. We want to do a layer of white and then color and then varnish. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Select that, and you can adjust how you want these resolutions to be. So I'm going to adjust the white to 720, and you're probably wondering, like, why is this not showing like this? So let's see what the issue is here. We need to click on that question mark, go to layer settings, and then where it says creating method, you're going to go to image. Okay, and that is going to give you a white layer of your image. Okay, and you need to do the same thing for varnish. So this is done in the layer setting. Okay, and you're just going to click that. Okay, so that's varnish, and then your color layer is right there. Okay, now you don't want to change anything else as far as the size or anything, because this is it's going to print in the exact same spot. That's why that PDF is so important, because it stays the same size. Okay, so let's just double check our settings one more time. The white layer, the color layer, or let's make sure that they are all good to go. I'm going to leave varnish how it was. We don't need to do anything else, so we can click print. It's not going to print unless we are on this top layer. If you are on the individual layers, it's not going to print. Okay, let's go over to the printer, and I'll meet you over there. And I'm going to click start. I'm just going to start printing.
So once the printing starts, it's actually going to make 4 different passes. The first pass is going to be the white layer. The second pass is going to be the color layer. Now, because most of our print looks like it's white except for the red bow, it's actually going to look like the second pass is doing another pass of white until you get to the bow. So that's putting down the red. And then it's going to do a combination of the varnish and the UV curing. And the curing is that purple light that you're seeing. That is what is going to make the ink basically permanent on there. And when this is done, it is ready to go. It's dry. You can touch it and you have a complete project. Now, I would not suggest this as a beginner project. This is rather advanced, trying to line up, but using this template method is much, much easier than trying to make a jig. It's also great if you're just doing kind of like 1 or 2 offs rather than a jig, where I would suggest doing that if you are making the same item over and over again. If you guys are looking for same day personalized help, if you need one-on-one chat, if you're looking for support that's always going to be there, we offer all of that through Silhouette U. I will link to that in the description below, along with a discount code of YouTube that you can use to get a discount when you join.